Dolk Mulwal Nyaranyik Belinda Duarte. Thank you for joining us here for the 4th year of the Ballarat Survival Day Dawn Service, presented by the Koorie Engagement Action Group. I'd like to begin by acknowledging we're on unceded country. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of this land that we gather here today, that of the Wadawurrung people. Pay my deepest respect to their elders past, present, and the young people emerging to play that role in the future. To our old people, we acknowledge all of you, all of those who have gone before us and experienced the historic and traumatic events of this nation, of this land that we gather here today. I'd like to acknowledge the Koorie Education Action Group, both past and current members, the City of Ballarat, Healthy Mind and Soul, Federation University, Ballarat and District Aboriginal Cooperative, and the Ballarat Allies and volunteers. To Nikki Foy, to Deb Clark, and to Sarah Jane Hall for ensuring this important ceremony occurred today. I'd like to acknowledge that we have a smoking ceremony that will be conducted as an offering of cleansing, and as a part of the ceremony today there'll be an invitation extended by Uncle Albert Fagan and Bonnie Chu from Wadawurrung to join in that. This ceremony has been connected to the fire of ceremony previously, and in its 4th year the charcoal is carried through to ensure the fire of that ceremony is retained annually, and I'd like to hand this to Bonnie to include as a part of Wadawurrung's offering. Standing next to me, we have an Auslan interpreter who has been with us for the journey. Thank you, Tracy Snyder, for joining us today. Before we commence with additional housekeeping, I'd like to extend an invitation for the Ballarat Dance Group and our Yadaki player, Zane Harris, to open the ceremony today. Thanks very much for the opening, and a particular thank you to Wadawurrung for commencing with smoking. A few housekeeping items for the guests that have joined here today, and then we will formally roll into our agenda. We have a first aid attendance on site, so for those that may need that, those present, people in the high-vis uniforms and vests around are here to assist in any way possible. There will be photography. There is a number that you can call or text if you do not give consent for your photo to be taken. The ceremony is live streamed today, and we do thank those that have joined us for this live stream through the dawn service, and it's being viewed through the Koorie Education Action Group on Facebook. People are welcome to take part in the smoking ceremony as an invitation, as I've said, cleansing ceremony on behalf of Wadawurrung traditional custodians, and at the end of today's ceremony there'll be an opportunity to place your hand in ochre and onto a kangaroo hide as an offering of solidarity. Towards the end of the ceremony, can we ask that media gather at the table to allow for the needed time in the wrap-up of the event for people to spend that time with each other as part of healing. And the Koorie Education Action Group past and present members to join us at the back of the stage for a group photo, given the significance of the journey that has happened to date. In acknowledging our beautiful elders that stand, sit and gather online and around the country with us today, we pause to respect them. Today we pause to respect those that have gone before us. Those who have passed to the dreaming, our families, our old people, those that we are of, who this country we are of. We would like to commence by standing, or if you're unable to do that, but to come together and take that minute's silence. Thank you. I'd like to ask Utnam Man Shu Brown to join us to share his reflections on today.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Shu Brown. I'm a Adjumutna man from the Flinders Ranges in South Australia. I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Wadawurrung people, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. Thank you, Bonnie and Uncle Albert, for being here this morning as part of the traditional ceremony. I'd also like to acknowledge all Aboriginal people and all friends and allies here with us today. Also, I'd like to acknowledge and pay my respects to members of the stolen generation and their families and individuals that may be here today. Ballarat was a place where a lot of our people were brought here to the orphanages, and a lot of those families and people have made this place their home over the years, and the founding members of our community here and what we are in this place. We're made up of a lot of diverse Aboriginal people from all over the place, all over this country, and they still remain here in this area today, so it's important for us to acknowledge those people and their families that are here with us today. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I was telling myself not to say a lot, and I keep doing it. There's so many proud, strong Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in this community, and I appreciate the opportunity to stand among them and in front of you all and share my insight, opinion, feelings, and what this day means to us as custodians of this country of ours. I am an Adjumutna man. Adjumutna Yura. Adja means rock, Mutnya means people. We are people of the rock from the Flinders Ranges. It's really proud for me to see, to be here and have a chat, but also to see my children dance and perform customs and dance as we always have and always will. I am the father of 4 beautiful children. Like I said, 2 of them have danced with us this morning. It fills me with pride to see my children continuing their practice. We've lived off-country most of our lives. We've grown up here on Wadawurrung Country, whether it's here in Ballarat or in Geelong. It's so important for us to continue those practices even though we're off-country, because for years we've been told not to dance and not to share our stories, and we're forced not to speak our language. So it's great to see those things coming back into life, into our day stream, into mainstream, into days, and everything that we do. And I will always encourage them to continue their culture and practice what they need to. They're our next generation. They're the generation ahead of us, and if we don't continue to do that, then I think we've failed as people for those who have fought for the resistance before us to get to this point. All who fought against the resistance, all our countrymen and women who died to protect their lands, their country, their way of life and our existence. This is probably about the 3rd speech I'd written to prepare for this. And I was going to talk about, the past, the trauma and everything that we'd been through to get to this point, but I changed my speech up a little bit to talk more about the present and the future and where we're going. And my speech changed a bit on Tuesday. I just want to share some reflections about me, my past, our present, where we're going, my children, my future, and where we are as a community and people, and what Aboriginal people face today and still to this day. Because the stuff that we talk about around Australia Day and the resistance and where we are today, is some of that stuff still happening today in subtle ways. My speech changed on Tuesday afternoon when my daughter came home after hanging out with her friends. 4 13-year-old girls, like most 13-year-old girls, just hanging out, shopping, for some outfits to wear for their Ballarat youth group. My daughter came home and told me that they were followed by security, approached, and they were told that they couldn't just be hanging around this section. My daughter was stopped. My daughter had just stopped to tie her shoes, and the girls were just looking at some things in the shop. They were asked to leave, and while they were leaving, staff were on their radios asking to check security footage of the area these girls were in. This may have happened for a variety of reasons. This may have happened just because they were teenage girls. This may have happened just because they're young kids hanging out. This just happens sometimes. But what hurt me the most, I guess, was that my daughter had already come back home and she'd already acknowledged the fact that, they followed her because she was black, because they were Aboriginal kids. It's sad to see that this is sort of normalising behaviour in the situations that we see today, that kids are being followed around because of the colour of their skin. This may happen to all group of kids, to young kids in society, and the kids will go home and tell their parents what happened to them. But I know that not kids that aren't Aboriginal or other ethnicities would not go home and question if that had anything to do with the colour of their skin and have to sit with that feeling and emotion, as my children did. I like to think that these things don't happen anymore, but we find that they still do happen in our community and society. It really hurts me as a parent, and you never want to see your child feeling ashamed or hurt or feeling anything, especially for the colour of their skin or their race. We've made such progression in my lifetime. I'm 37 years old this year, a child who went through the child protection system, ward of the state when I was 2 years old, removed from my family and placed into care. But fortunately for me, I was put in the care of a strong, caring and loving Aboriginal family. I've seen racism, I've witnessed physical violence of racism, I've heard it from afar, and I've had it to my face. But I have not let it break me. It only makes me stronger. It makes me want to educate and heal those who don't understand and share my plight. In our lifetime, we've witnessed the apology given to people of the stolen generation, their families. I've seen Aboriginal stories and language taught in schools. I've seen Aboriginal art and design into all facets of our lives, in everything from our tea bags that we see and buy from the shop to the uniform that our Olympians wear and presented at Commonwealth Games. I've seen traditional owners get their land back and acknowledged for who they are. I've been a part of ensuring cultural practices such as land, water and use of fire management techniques being reintroduced in the environment. More importantly to those things, I've witnessed change in people in the communities and organisations that I've worked with. I'm the manager of the Cultural and Therapeutic Support Team at Ballarat. Part of my role is to deliver cultural awareness training to businesses, individuals, practices in our community. And what I'm seeing is change. I was recently challenged by one of our groups that we were delivering cultural awareness training to. And that really surprised me, not surprised me, but it gave me hope. The question that I was challenged about in this presentation was about stereotypes. What are the stereotypes that we see given to Aboriginal people in our communities, or what do you hear about Aboriginal people? A lot of those things that you hear are drug users, dole bludgers, alcoholics, don't work, don't look after their kids. All of which of these are negatives, but when you think about it, these are not just Aboriginal problems. They're Aboriginal problems. These are problems that we see within our community, within our wider community, not just Aboriginal people. But the stigma sticks with us, and those stereotypes have always been there. I was challenged by this group of... I was challenged by a group of from Federation Uni, young conservation and land management students, who were asked, what stereotypes do you see and hear? Some of them couldn't answer. Some of them had never heard any of those stereotypes. Some of them have never seen or been introduced to that sort of racism or violence, which is great. There's going to come to a point in my life where I have to take those things out of our cultural awareness training. The day I can do that will be all the better for it. These people were starting to change. They've been brought up differently. What they have not seen and not heard about my people has changed. They haven't been exposed to the negative, but only brought up with appreciate and support our country's first people. This filled me with happiness and made me think toward a future where cultural awareness training is no longer a thing. I mean, that would be amazing. For the future, I want change. I'm Aboriginal every day. I'm not going to stop being Aboriginal on this day. If anything, I should be more Aboriginal. I want to be able to share my culture with everyone and anyone who's willing to learn and walk along this journey with me. I stand here today in the presence of my mother, who taught me everything I know. I stand in the presence of my children, who are the next generation leaders of our community. They're strong in their culture and they're strong in their identity and they love their culture. I stand here in front of those who are here in body and those who are no longer with us, but have shared their knowledge and experiences with me. I have an obligation to continue to share, guide and teach others wherever I am presented the opportunity. I am Aboriginal every day. I'm a strong Adyamatnayura, and I will be here to share my knowledge and culture anytime, any place and on any day. Today of all days, I will stand tall and strong and honour all those who have stood here and fought before me. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Shu, for your story, sharing the significance, the strength in who you are, and the journey of hope. As a Wadawurrung woman with Jara connections on Wadawurrung Country, it's a pleasure for me to introduce Wadawurrung and Jardjali woman, Zareen Webster. If Zareen could come forward and take the stage. Thanks, Zareen.
My name is Zareen Jadwa Marianne May Webster Morley, and I am an actor, producer, musician, activist, First Nations culture consultant for Sovereign Hill. But first and foremost, I stand before you all here today as a human being who is connected to a beautiful culture that has walked this earth for tens of thousands of years. My bloodline is also of the Wadawurrung people from Dimboola. Today marks a momentous occasion where we get to make change, be a part of change. We get to be a part of history where we begin to acknowledge. Today we pay tribute to the ancestors who came before us, to the elders who never gave up, the elders who fought for the rights of all of us gathered here today, the elders who fought for our voices to be heard. We pay tribute to the elders who were brave in the face of adversity, who died so that we could live. For me, it is the elders who, despite the heavy effects and influence of European colonisation, never stopped transferring and passing down to the next generation the skills, knowledge, practices, and beliefs of First Nations people. Today, we come together to celebrate survival. Our peoples, our cultures are beautiful, magic, deadly. In our cultures, songlines play an important role in transferring of knowledge and information. Today, I would like to gift to you a song that I wrote during a period of my life where I was angry, I was frustrated, and I was just exhausted. All I wanted was for people to listen. So I thought this is the perfect space to share this song. This song is called Not Anymore. Dulk, Yarnyak Zareen, La Ruki Wachabaliken, Gianyan Jalingi Warkaya, Wadawurrung Country, Lake Wendouree. Hello, my name is Zareen and I am a proud Watchabolic woman. I also have the privilege and the honour of still being able to speak my ancestors' language, the Warkaya language. But today, more importantly, we are gathered on the sacred lands of the Wadawurrung people. And I pay my respects to the elders who are past, who are present, and who will be emerging in community. I also extend that welcome to other First Nations people here today. And of course, I welcome all our allies who stand in solidarity today and acknowledge that you all come from other walks of life. Our people, our spirit, our story, our truth. Our people, our spirit, our story, our truth. You took away our voice, our freedoms, our liberties. You took away our voice, our freedoms, our liberties will not anymore. You made my people suffer oppression and genocide. You took away our babes and killed off the elders. Well, not anymore. You lock up our aunties, our uncles, our children. You say you're trying to help when really all you're doing is killing us. Well, not anymore. You taught our elders not to speak their native tongue. You taught our mob to be ashamed of who they are. Well, not anymore. You teach the kids in school to be white is superior. You say to be black is less than and inferior. Not anymore. You knock us down, but we're still here. You'll never keep our spirit down. You knock us down, but we're still here. You never keep our spirit down, no. Not anymore. You knock us down, but we're still here. You never keep our spirit down. You knock us down, but we're still here. You'll never keep our spirit down. Oh, not anymore. You knock us down, but we're still here. You'll never keep our spirit down. You knock us down, but we're still here. You'll never keep our spirit down. Our people, our spirit, our story, our truth. Our people, our spirit, our story, our truth. Sing it with me. Our people, our spirit, our story, our truth. Our people, our spirit, our story, our truth. Our people, our spirit, our story, our truth. Doki dog, thank you.
Doki dog, sister. Serene, thank you. What a powerful combination of words and narratives as that washes over you while our next speaker, Jed Mercer, makes her way to the stage. Clearly today is an emotional day. Please be gentle with yourself and with each other. And for those who are new to sitting with us at this space, it will be uncomfortable. Change, truth, this experience is meant to be. So being comfortable with the uncomfortable is part of the healing journey. Jed Mercer will be reading a poem. Jed, thank you for sharing this poem with us. I can't quite see in this darkness. Jed, thank you.
Wadawurrung, Nardik Jed Mercer. I'm a proud Wadawurrung boy, and I come from this land, Ballarat. Indigenous Ones, a poem by Uncle Wes Mann. Indigenous people of this earth's land, now is the time for us all to join hands, to let the world know that we are still here, to let the world know that our culture is alive. Let's do it now, for this is our year. Let them all know that we have survived. Let them all know that we are still strong. Let them all know that we are not wrong. While there is one to tell stories, and there is one to hear. While we still sing our songs, they will know we are still here. While we still do our dances and still hunt our lands, no one can take our culture from our hands. Let the old ones tell the stories. Let the young ones hear and learn. Tell them of our days of glory, so that for more they will yearn. And they will teach their young ones and teach them what we were told, and we will be here forever. And our culture will never grow old. Thank you very much.
Doggy Dog Jed, really special as a young man of this country. We have the return of these beautiful young dancers. Kaya, Jara, Taya, Amaya, Taj, Koa, Evie and Charlie. This is the part I love watching. As Jed leads the voice of young people and the young children that join us, please enjoy. How deadly, you Mom. That was really beautiful, really, really beautiful. The love of your culture, our culture, the cultures that we see expressed today from many countries. Your families will be extraordinarily proud of you, and your old people would be smiling, hey? Our next speaker, who's been critical to today's ceremony, Sarah Jane Hall, Narungga woman, beautiful Narungga woman, who will speak to you about the historic events that has brought us here to reflect upon, and the healing ceremony that will be conducted towards the end of today.
Thank you, Belinda. G'day. My name is Sarah Jane Hall, and I'm a proud Narungga woman. I've Celtic ancestral ties. I was born on Wadawurrung land. I was raised on Latchi Latchi land, and now I live on Wadawurrung Country. The bloodlines of my ancestors run deep and have made me who I am today. I respectfully honour the Wadawurrung people who have occupied these lands and waters for thousands of years, and I convey my gratitude to their elders past and present. I pay my respects to all Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander people, allies, friends and people who aren't friends yet that are here today. I give thanks to those who are gathered here at the lake, and I acknowledge my ancestors who have gone before me and my grafted family tree, some of who are here today. I'd like to give a gentle warning that this part of the dawn ceremony contains graphic history. Today is a day of reflection. We are here to reflect on this day, our history, our people, our nation, our future. And between 1788 and 1930, there were approximately 500 recorded killings of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples across Australia. 415 of these massacres saw 6 or more Aboriginal people murdered, with a total loss of life estimated to be in the hundreds of thousands, some estimating closer to a couple of million. 97% of people that were killed in these massacres were Aboriginal men, women and children. 1833, Convincing Ground Massacre. 264 k's away on the shores near Portland, Victoria, was one of the largest recorded massacres in Victoria. Whalers and the local Gunditjmara people disputed the rights to a beached whale carcass. 150 to 200 Gunditjmara were killed, including women and children. And just 98 kilometres away, in 1836, the Colonel Secretary of Van Diemen's Land wrote about an incident to his counterpart, recounting the killings just down the road in Werribee. There was a tribe consisting of men, women and children, and there can be little doubt that 50 to 100 of the tribe at Port Phillip were killed. In 1838, the Battle of Broken River, up to 100 Aboriginal people were killed. 1838, Mount Cottrell, massacre of around 10 Wadawurrung people. 1838, the Waterloo Plains massacre of between 8 to 23 Wadawurrung people. 1839, the Campaspe Plains massacre. Many were fleeing and were shot in the back. The Assistant Protector of Aborigines for the region described the massacre as a deliberately planned act and an illegal reprisal. In 1839, the Murdering Gully massacre, 35 to 40 people were wiped out. Oh my God, beautiful. At the end of 1839, just 46 k's up the road, if you just cruise through Creswick, from where we are standing today, Aboriginal people were given poisoned flour and sugar rations. Those who escaped sought safety by diving into the water holes, only to have, the moment they popped up to take a breath, they were shot. This place is still known as the Blood Hole. There are at least 9 other known cases of deliberate poisoning of rations given to my people. Between 1840 and 1850, the Gippsland massacres saw between up to 1,000 Ghani people murdered. From 1840 to 1860, we had the Emeralla Wars, resulting in over 442 Aboriginal deaths. 1840, the Fighting Hills Massacre, the death toll was as high as 80. And in 1840, the Fighting Waterholes Massacre was the second massacre by the White brothers, coming only months after the Fighting Hills Massacre. And from the Gippsland Guardian we read, well, I can't read it, it's too graphic. Too horrendous. 69 lives were lost. All 69 were Aboriginal. Lubra Creek Massacre, 5 Aboriginal lives lost. Warrigal Creek Massacre, 150 Aboriginal lives lost. (1846) The Blanket Bay Massacre. In the Geelong newspaper, the Advertiser and the Squatters Advocate, in 1846, we read that 2 weeks prior that the surveyor, George Smythe, was hired to conduct a coastal survey on the Otway Ranges, just 182 kilometres from here. George Smythe's surveying party shot 15 to 20 Aboriginal people. Today marks 235 years since the day the lives of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people were brutally disrupted. A day that marked the commencement of colonisation and subsequent killings, oppression and systemic racism. Massacres were not the only way Aboriginal people were taken from their families and from their country. Anthropologists dug up our ancestors' bones and sold them to overseas institutions for £10. Indigenous resting places, our graves, were desecrated and destroyed. Last year, the repatriation of one of our female elders from the Smithsonian in America was the result of years of searching and campaigning for her remains, her bones, to be able to finally be at rest here. Approximately 2,000 of my ancestors have ended up in museums around the world, and we're still not the only mob right across Australia that this has happened to their ancestors, to their elders, to their old people, to their babies. I agree with my Auntie Ninny when she says, knowing our people are just sitting in boxes on shelves in institutions is just heartbreaking. 3 months ago, the remains of 38 men, women and children of the Narungga tribe, my ancestors, were finally laid to rest on country. There are no words for how I felt on that day. Standing there, doing ceremony, sorry business with my people. In the words of Uncle Jeffrey, only together can we heal. Alone we carry that angst and trauma, and only together can we heal. I'd like to introduce you to proud Wadawurrung woman Bonnie and Tammy, both traditional custodians here. Gunditjamara and Watchabalak woman Nikki Foy and Deb Clark, Merrim from the Torres Strait Islands. They are 2 beautiful women who dedicate hours of their time to help make this Survival Day dawn ceremony happen each and every year. And joining them will be our deadly speakers, Sue Brown, Adamath Mann and traditional custodian young Jed Mercer, along with allies Councillor Daniel Maloney, Councillor Belinda Coates, Dr. Julie Rouse, Flynn Jamison and Benjamin Carnham. Can you please come up the front? In the spirit of healing, and as a representation of all of us gathered here today, these Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander and non-Indigenous people, our allies, are placing their hands in ochre and putting their handprints on the kangaroo hide. Go for it. Today is a day of reflection. Everyone here will have the opportunity to put their hand in ochre. With permission, we've been able to harvest Wadawurrung ochre with the pinky red, the white and the yellow. Choose your colour and put the ochre handprint on the kangaroo hide after you've been through the smoking ceremony in about 5 minutes. We are here to reflect on this day, our history and our people, our nation and our future. And as Jed so beautifully recited Uncle Wes's words, who, by the way, Uncle Wes is watching this live streaming. He's 100 years old in Sydney, and in a few weeks' time we'll tick over 101 years here on this country. In Uncle Wes's words, and they will tell their young ones and teach them what we were told, and we will be here forever, and our culture will never grow old. Thank you. As our young people complete this part of ceremony, I do want to thank Sarah Jane for sharing so many massacres and actions that have been taken that have deeply affected our people. And for those that may not know, there are people in this audience that are directly affected and connected to those massacres. Many Aboriginal families. Our next guest to join us on stage, Bede Mercer, Wadawurrung, and a mother and daughter, gorgeous team, Deb Lower Clark and Mercy Clark, Mer women, will join to share a beautiful song, a powerful song, as we come towards the end of today's gathering.
hand it over to you guys. Thank you.
I acknowledge the Wadawurrung people, the first custodians of this beautiful space. I pay my respects to elders. Stories right, the stories true. We would not tell lies to you. Laji laji, nanga, jari jari, daddy daddy, wadi wadi. Wegaya, Wemba Wemba, Baraba Baraba, Binjali, Bundik, Jadwa Jali, Dawurrung Country, Yoda Yoda, Kilai Rawang, Jagadwaram. Kaju Banad, take my time, Gulichan, Nango, Bunwarang, Gunai Kanai, Tungarang, Dongwarang, Boywarang, Waranjari, Ngara Lilamwarang, Jara. Wadawurrung, Wadawurrung. The children came back to their mothers, back to their fathers, back to their sisters, back to their brothers, back to their people, back to their land. The children came back, the children came back. The story's right, the story's true. We would not tell lies to you. Thank you. Thank you.
Dolky donk. Such a beautiful way to ground us. The back end of today's ceremony. There's something about young children singing that hits me hard. Really beautiful. So Country speaks. Country speaks as we stand here for the whole ceremony and feel the drizzle cleanse us. Wadawurrung Country spoken, and as a part of the closing of this ceremony, traditional owners here commence the smoking ceremony for each of us to cover ourselves in. Wow, how powerful. And again, I repeat the invitation from Uncle Albert and Bonnie to do that and place your hand in the Okan. Join us. Thank you for joining us in your allyship, in your solidarity for January 26th Survival Day. To those who are here today on live stream, we thank you for joining us. We hope you can see us in the smoke now. A reminder for media to please wait at the table. Thank you to all involved in creating today's ceremony. Stay safe. And as was referenced earlier by one of my people, our people are a beautiful people. We're one of the most generous and loving at our very best. Thanks for standing with us, and we'll see you again next year.